You know, might want to start with these very intricate kits that have been made over the course of the school year.
Have you been a long-term Lego maker yourself?
This is not my work. This is my daughter and my husband's.
That's what they all say. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I first learned about you when somebody at your old management company said, hey, our new artist, Vanessa, this song is going to set the world on fire. And I think we're going to change the name of it to 1,000 miles. Like, oh yeah, sure. She's going to be big, and then you say it's the biggest damn thing ever. And it's great to see that you're still making incredible music 20 years later. Like most people tail off. They have that period where it's not as good as it once was. You're still great. Thank you for being you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's definitely a journey, That's the thing. It's like things ebb and flow. So I think that coming out with a record when I was so young, which don't get me wrong, there's other artists that were about 19, 20, or wrote their records 17, 18, and really came out as fully formed artists.
Yeah.
I can name a few, like John McCauley, when he was about first year to get record, Fiona Apple. I'm definitely the type of artist that was learning as I did each project. I feel like I grew up in front of the world, and I'm happy that I had some records there where I was just able to grow on my own and not have everybody watch.
Yeah.
So I would, just going back to what you're saying, like, I don't know what great is. I think the journey for me though has been like really much more about finding the courage to explore new things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which album was it that you were finally able to get out of A&R hell and just be yourself? The third one?
Yeah, so my first three records I was really in the major label kind of system that's now, I think, still exists for like super huge pop stars and artists that are mainstream, but that doesn't really exist anymore. So then I funded my own record and went the more independent route on my fourth record called Rabbits on the Run. And that was my record that I'd always kind of wanted to make. And I think that, not to put down the other things that I had done, but I was trying to be a certain way or fulfill obligations, or felt pressure to live up to some idea that was like projected onto me. And that's what happens when you're young or you're not really sure of yourself, That's what I'm saying. People sometimes grow up in front of the world.
Yeah. I'm calling this a new record because unfortunately the COVID news cycle ate up a lot of great culture that happened a year ago. So the deluxe part of it is a new album. Now, you worked with one of my favorite producers, Dave Fridman, and I know people who've worked with Dave Fridman. I'm curious what the first album was that kind of put him on your radar, where you went, I know this guy makes awesome sounds. I got to be with him.
Well, a lot of the Flaming Lips records, and I will say that I didn't get really into psychedelic. I don't know how you would categorize that band, because that's more of a modern. It's not like there's plenty of psychedelic music from the 70s, which is sort of like its own. I feel like that's a certain thing. A lot of instrumental music. Flaming Lips is like a modern take on psychedelia, and I think that was that band is really what introduced me to Dave. Dave is like sort of like I don't know, forgetting how many members are in Flaming Lips, but he's like the sixth member or fifth member or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it just went from there. There's a lot of records that came out in the 2000s that were so excellent, and I kept looking at them and looking who made this and who was part of recording this or whatever, and it was always Dave. Whether it was Tame Impala or
OK Go, MGMT.
Yeah, and then I got really into Mercury Rev records. In the last 5 years, I got very into Mercury Rev and started breaking that down, studying those records. And then this project, part of this project, Love is an Art, which is this record we're talking about. In my mind, one of the main ingredients to making this record was being able to work with Dave Fridman on it. So I just got lucky that he said okay.
So something I'm very curious about is with your craft, do you hear the songs, like, as in what we hear on the album is what you heard in your head? Because I can only imagine with a song like, for example, Back to Life, there's interesting production going on. I can hear the skeleton of the song, but I'm sure there was a little gloss in the studio that happens when you work with Dave.
Oh, that's so interesting that you bring up that song. That was like a song that I believe I played it and sang it in two different times. I may not have that. That may have been one of those takes where I sing and play at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, he is such wonderful ears, and he just sort of built these motifs around what I played. That was not one of like the band songs on the record. The drummer and the guitar player, John played some guitar. It was Patrick Callahan from My Morning Jacket and Adam Landry played guitar, and Dave was the bass player. But Back to Life was just, I played it and he built these things around it, and then I brought in my friend Sky Steele who plays the violin, who tours with me.
Sure.
On all my tours, and he did these really cool spooky string parts.
And that song that we just spoke about with Back to Life, the music video of it is stunning, beautiful, looks cool, yet COVID compliant.
Right.
Is it just a happy accident that the video is COVID compliant?
I know. It's so funny. It's just the way. So the aerial shot of the building, that's where I record the record. And I worked with now forgetting Patrick McPherson. His Instagram or his artist name is Interior State. He's brilliant. Mm-hmm. We gave him the video of like just these beautiful aerial shots of where I recorded the record, and then he built that around it. But yeah, I mean, I was going to say, Dave lives a pretty isolated, COVID-friendly life, but in a good way, like in a balanced way. I'm like, this guy like was prepared for this for many decades. Like he's doing good in COVID,
So with this album being a year, since it initially got released, before it gets this deluxe treatment, are you the kind of artist that has like 30 songs ready for the next one?
Never.
Or is it never? Okay.
I write for the project. I'll have a backlog sometimes of some demo ideas that I haven't finished, and I go listen. I'm like, oh, I don't know why I didn't finish that. I need to readdress that. It's just like with any work that you do, you put it down, take a break, go back. So I teach my 6-year-old, but I'm in the midst now, like you call it pre-production, but like,
mm-hmm.
Dave and I are talking, and I want to do another record with him. That would be amazing. I just don't have, this year, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe in the same place. I feel like a lot of us are been hit with so many, I just feel with this year has been a mirror where we have to look at ourselves quite differently. Mm-hmm. A different angle, and I'm still digesting that and what that means for all of us and what that means for me, and it takes a second for me to like translate that into work, into expression.
That makes a lot of sense. Some people like myself kind of use this time to work on their craft, and other people, like random name, the singer of the Fratellis, who I've spoken to a few times, said he's written 1.5 songs in the last 2 years. He's got nothing.
Thank you for sharing that with me, because I, like, even recently, John was like, you haven't played in so long. I mean, I was playing a lot last summer. We're living in upstate New York in a rental home in between homes right now. We're really like transient. Sure. I got my baby grand piano moved in, and I didn't really play much, but I'm starting to play a little bit now. So, by the way, I'm loving the photos, the photo wall, like the decor, the vibe behind you is very strong.
Thank you. My wife is very, very tolerant of all that. And I'll have to see, I might have an 8x10 of you from like 2002. If I have it, we'll change out Gallagher and we'll put you on the wall.
Yeah, 2002, what a year. The frames are what, brings it all together. I'm sure that she's pleased with that.
Thank you. The other angle is you'll see a Pac-Man machine, and other people go, oh, what do you have? What do you have that? But
John would be that, yeah.
Do you have time for 3 more questions? Because I know we got started a little late.
Sure.
Okay, first question. A lot of people, one of their first big exposures to your personality was your MTV Cribs, and you had the distinction of pointing out that you had a washing machine, and that was how you knew that you made it in New York City.
I'm forgetting. Yeah.
Is Cribs real, or is it like 50% real?
My Cribs was real.
Okay.
I don't know. I wonder, that was, what a time that was, right? Like, it's so amazing how MTV just like disappeared.
Yeah, totally.
Change, you know. I'm a little embarrassed that I don't, you know, it's just, again, it's like growing up in pop culture is weird. It's like, I don't know if I wouldn't do something like that now, because I don't know how much that's just like, it's entertaining to watch, but like, are you really helping anybody? Like, were you, and you know, like, it's just such a 24-year-old thing to do. Like,
yeah.
You know
it's
what I
starting
mean?
to get weird name checky, but like the band Super Drag, who I used to work with, I asked, like, guys, do you regret anything from when you had your big hit? And they're like, yeah, doing House of Style on MTV. That was not a good look. And so some people have that kind of, I shouldn't have done that, but I think you were part of a big institution there. And my second thing is, I've had the pleasure of interviewing Terry Crews. You're forever linked with him.
He's a great guy. We became friends, or after, since that movie. Not until actually recently did we start talking on the phone. But he's such a lovely man,
And
very sweet, just generous person, you know.
did that interpretation of the song, which he's had to do on TV a lot of times, did that make it more fun again to do? Because by the time that happened, it had already been a hit 5-6 years. You'd probably played it 1,000 times, but did it breathe new life in a way?
I don't know. Probably for other people, not for me. You know, I don't even think I saw the movie until like years after it came out. We're talking about White Chicks, yeah.
Of course.
And the thing about that movie is like, or the concept, and oh my God, now I'm blanking on the writers of the movie.
The Wayans brothers.
The Wayans. So they're so nice, and they were a fan of the song. Like the way they approached me was like, we're big fans of the song. We think the song is like, they like the song. And the people that don't, sometimes people are like, oh, you're just so, you know, you're just the epitome of white chick or whatever that means. And I'm just like, no, but you don't understand. Like, they like the song. Like the Wayans are not saying that about me. They're not saying that. Go talk to them about it. But it's the only thing that made that joke work. It was so hilarious. How often do you have like a scene like that in the movie that people still talk about? It's like, so, you know what I mean?
Totally. And again, new generations discovered the song, so it became a hit for the second and third time right there. So my closing question is for you and or for John, do you have a TV show that you could pass along that, you know, somebody needs a new show to start and this is what they should be checking out?
I love The Queen's Gambit. I don't remember now. Oh my God. I feel like my brain is like, especially in COVID, it's like every 6 months it clears history. I clear history. It's just like, burp. I wish I want to call downstairs, but he won't hear me. I know. Yeah, The Queen's Gambit was one of the last shows that I was just really binged it. You know what I mean? But I like a lot of true crime, weird documentaries on like disappearances. It's where I'm like obsessed with knowing every which way that I can possibly be killed. It's like this very anxiety. It's like a release of anxiety, but it's like, yeah, it's like, I need to go calm down and watch Forensic Files. It's like, what is that? I don't know what that is.
Well, you've got great taste in music and beyond. Really, so many years of great music. And I'm glad to see that this album's getting the deluxe treatment. That's how you know you've made it, when you get a deluxe release. It's not just a regular release.
I was going to say what makes it deluxe is I included 2 of my demos, so you can hear some like really bare bones versions of my original ideas before they get cooked up.
Yeah.
And then a new song.
Exactly. Well, looking forward to seeing you live in New York when things get normalish again. But until then, stay awesome.
Paltrocast.